Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Clements, and this is my presentation for the marketing assignment. This video in this project, I will be discussing a very interesting topic referring to makeup and women's beauty. The article was originally published in the Journal of Consumer Research, and it is titled, "Makeup Who You Are. Self-Expression Enhances the Perceived Authenticity and Public Promotion of Beauty Work." In this presentation, I'll break down the main hypothesis, the methods used, the key findings, how companies can use them, and let's get started. First of all, the main research question or hypothesis in this study. It is very fascinating. The core question that researchers asked was, how can people who engage in beauty work, like wearing makeup or dyeing hair, be perceived as more authentic rather than fake or deceptive? And there are a lot of ways to look at this question, because historically, many people would agree that beauty work is stigmatized. A lot of people that think that it's a form of manipulation, as one would say. And even within this article, a note is that 63% of men believe that makeup is deceptively trying to trick them or make them think a different way. So this creates a problem for makeup brands because, especially using modern marketing, people want to seem very authentic. If you're not authentic, people don't really want to buy your brand. So let's dive into the hypothesis. When beauty work is framed as self-expression rather than like self-enhancement or improving yourself for a different way, people perceive it as more authentic, and that is very, very vital within this case, because authenticity increases the word of mouth, the sharing, purchase intent, and other aspects as well. So this idea is anchored in two philosophical point of views, and I will describe them now. The first point of view is the essentialist point of view. This is more of how authenticity can come from inside you, your intimate, actual, expressive self. Makeup hiding it seems fake. Now, the existentialist view is a bit different. It states that authenticity comes from what you create, and makeup can be a part of that creativity. So it seems this existentialist view is definitely more positive in some sort of way. So, all in all, the main key hypothesis: if beauty work is presented as creative rather than improving or getting rid of flaws, observers will see this person as more authentic, and that would boost the marketing income for the company. Now, you may be asking, how did researchers conduct this research? Well, they used a variety of different studies. Firstly, the first study was an Instagram study. They collected roughly 3,700 Instagram posts that used CoverGirl hashtags, like before and after their 27 rebrand. Initially, their quote was "easy, breezy, beautiful." They altered this to "I am what I make up," which is, I think, a genius change, because it is more expressive and it promotes self-expression and being okay with the way that you look, makeup or not. This study would measure how people disclosed their makeup use, how noticeable the makeup was, the number of likes per Instagram user, and other repost behaviors. The second experiment was more controlled. Across several studies, they basically manipulated whether a person's makeup was framed as self-enhancement, which obviously self-enhancement, making yourself look better. Self-expression, she just wears the makeup to, express who she is. And then they would rate a variety of other traits, such as the authenticity, the perceived authenticity, like how authentic they believed that this was, the perceived concealment, the perceived creation, like how creative the makeup was, and purchase intent, among others. So these experiments basically included seeing influencers promoting a brand, manipulating whether transformations were high or low variety, and testing boundary conditions such as restorative makeup or self-tanning or other aspects like that. Within this, they used parallel mediation and serial mediation models. This is a process to test psychological pathways in the subject. It basically is a statistical test to determine how and why a certain effect happens to someone's choice, decision making. Across all the methods, the goal was consistent. It was to test whether self-expression increases the authenticity by shifting perceptions from concealment, like concealing, to creativity and creation. So that was the basis of these studies that they conducted. And now we will move on to key findings. Now let's dive into the key findings. Across all the studies, most of the key findings were pretty consistent. So the first key finding was that people assume that beauty work is equal to self-enhancement by default, which is a crazy, crazy point of view. The initial test displayed that overwhelmingly, people believe that makeup is used to make someone look better and not to express themselves creatively. Crazy. But yeah, that was the initial first key finding. Another key finding was that framing beauty work as self-expression significantly increases the perceived authenticity of it. So when the motivation was explicitly stated as self-expression, people would judge the person as being more genuine, more true to themselves, and less deceptive. And there are explanations to this. There are a couple of psychological mechanisms, which I will detail. The first one is lower perceived concealment. Self-expression made observers believe that the person was not hiding their real appearance. And that is very important in this study. In addition, a higher perceived creation rate. Self-expression made beauty work seem like an act of creative or identity expression and not a disguise. And these two pathways basically explain the rise in authenticity. Finally, and this one is very important for the marketing companies, because in all, obviously we need to see revenue. Companies need to see revenue. So authenticity would boost the marketing outcomes. The initial participants would would show more purchase intent. They would spread word of mouth more. They would have more interest in sharing a post of the brand on Instagram or any other social media site. And it also leads to a higher social endorsement, like I said before, with the word of mouth and the spreading it to others. So, how can companies or brands use these findings? Now, there are a variety of ways that companies or brands can use the findings within this research. The first thing is the branding strategy. They can shift messaging from looking better and hide imperfections and enhance your features to more acceptable and societal kind of norms, like express who you are, create your own version of beauty, makeup is art. And by doing that, they allow themselves to find a more supportive consumer base. Now, another aspect could be the influencer marketing. So through this, influencers should frame their routines as being more expressive in creativity for makeup, not fixing flaws or, oh, I'm trying to improve my image. This ultimately will boost comments, the authenticity of the company's followers, the trust within the corporation, because you need trust in order to have a loyal consumer base, comments and obviously the ROI on the campaigns that they're doing. In addition, another way, new product lines. Companies could put out new lines of product or makeup that basically promote being authentic and creativity and expressing yourself. A new product line idea could be, hey, express yourself, or creative looks on the box. So that's another way. Financial outcomes obviously is another big indicator of the success of the research. A greater WOM and social endorsement rate will ultimately make the company thrive within their revenue, within their consumer base, and all other aspects. And all in all, these corporations should be on the lookout, because this is a very important facet of women's beauty. And obviously makeup is a very common practice in today, and corporations need to understand how they could capitalize on bringing authenticity and being more creative and showing others that it is okay to express yourself as being creative. Finalizing the report, if I had give or take 60 seconds to explain this to a friend, here's what I would say. Most people believe that makeup is used to improve someone's image and hide their flaws. And this in turn makes people judge them much more and see them as being less authentic, give or take. And this hurts beauty brands a lot, because social media engagement thrives on being positive and positivity and being authentic and creative with yourself. When makeup is framed as self-expression and not self-enhancement, people see the brands and the companies as being more authentic, and in turn, it generates a greater group. It generates better return on income, and it generates a loyal fan base to this corporation. So basically, makeup should not be used as a way to enhance yourself. It should be used as a form of expressing yourself and being creative. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I am Richard Clements.